Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. If those of you are new to this channel or have stumbled upon this video, my name is Yanni and I make videos about college, life, and anything in between. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, share the video, and turn on post notifications. So now that my freshman year is completely over and it's technically summer break, I decided to make a video kind of answering some questions I've gotten about college over social media, things like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all different types of social media. And basically just kind of clarify some of the inquiries that people were wondering, especially prospective high school students that are either going into their senior year of high school or are getting ready to get into their first year of college. Along with questions from social media, I'm also going to be answering and clarifying some of the things I got on my comments on my past YouTube videos and just on my channel in general. So the main question I usually get, whether it be through social media or YouTube, is what was college like during this pandemic, during the coronavirus, since basically I went to college as a freshman in September of 2020, and that was basically at the height of the pandemic where the cases were rising, and the time was very different, unconventional from what normal kind of college experiences have felt like. So my main answer to this question is that college was very different from what I perceived it to initially be. I came in with different kind of expectations, but of course the coronavirus flipped that. And basically in my winter quarter, going into my spring quarter, there was a lot of regulations and policies put into place where we had to wear masks basically everywhere. We also had to get tested once, or actually twice a week. So essentially for locations, any place you wanted to go to, whether it be a dining hall, library, or gym, you had to make a reservation beforehand and you had to show this green symptom tracker, which basically said you didn't have COVID-like symptoms that specific day. This made it kind of difficult to do a lot of things because in the traditional college sense, you'd probably just walk into a location and just go about doing whatever you were going to do. But this was a little more difficult because you had to plan out what you wanted to do. So it was definitely a lot more kind of thought that had to go into doing what you wanted to do in a specific day. But I still think it was good overall because it helped reduce kind of transmission and reduce positivity rates as well. Now, segueing from that question into a kind of more sub-question, which was what was social scene like, what was Greek life really like, and kind of what were the main things that were able to be done on campus. In terms of Greek life, I'm probably not the best person to answer this question because I didn't rush or pledge my freshman year, but I still know that for at least the first 2 quarters, everything was done remotely for the most part in terms of rushing and pledging. But then in the spring quarter, a lot of the other events and formals and gatherings began to be in person after people got the vaccine. So I think going into the sophomore year with a lot of other colleges, you could kind of expect for a lot more in-person activities with the Greek life if you're thinking about going into that. In terms of social scene, for my college specifically, you were still able to see friends, of course. You were able to go to the dorms and hang out in the lounges. And then obviously we had the student center, which is Norris. You were able to go there and go to the game room or just have lunch there or just be with people. But the emphasis was really on having the masks up and just still remaining kind of 6 feet apart or just being distanced from each other. So overall, kind of concluding what the idea was with on-campus life and the social scene and stuff like that, it was very different. Like I've said in all my other videos, it was very difficult to kind of have a traditional kind of first year at college, specifically for me, and I think for a lot of people, if you ask them, they're going to say that it was difficult because a lot of things were put into place because of the coronavirus. So it wasn't something that we were all expecting, but I think everyone kind of was able to adapt to it and acclimate very well, and that made for a better college experience overall. So another big question I was asked was the idea of financials and paying for college. And if you guys haven't already seen, I made a video on that a couple months ago for paying for college specifically, different types of programs and things you can do to pay for college. But for this past year, I think a lot of people at other colleges, as well as mine, I believe, were able to appeal their financial aid packages and ask for more money as long as they gave a valid reason, because I think the universities were able to understand that a lot of parents and guardians got laid off and furloughed from their jobs because of the coronavirus. So it made sense to be more accommodating in terms of having more generous financial aid packages. Moving aside from that to a more academic sense, I've been asked a ton what the actual classroom atmosphere was like, especially with the coronavirus and being on campus. One thing I actually want to make clear was that when I was on campus, I wasn't actually attending in-person classes. It was all remote. But some things that came with learning remotely were that I was only able to talk to my TAs or professors over Zoom or over email. We weren't able to actually meet in person because almost everyone was either at home or rarely went into their offices. Also, with my peers and classmates, I was only really able to meet with them on Zoom because everyone was juggling different things, so Zoom was kind of the best resort to go to. One cool thing that actually came with remote learning, I know at least at my school, was that since some of the buildings were actually open, we were able to go into them to study and to just kind of do work together with other people. And I found that really cool because even though most of the buildings were closed off, we were able to kind of still see what some of the buildings had inside of them, specifically like the tech building at Northwestern, Annenberg, as well as Kresge Hall, and some of the other halls we were able to kind of go into. So I thought that was really cool, just kind of see what the inside of like lecture halls and small rooms were like. And I really enjoyed kind of doing work there because it felt like the right setting to do it, rather than just doing it in like a dorm room. Now, another thing I've been asked a good amount, especially on YouTube and on Instagram, is what the economics department was like and what economics classes were like specifically. So I don't know a whole ton since I've only been a freshman and I've only taken a couple of the classes, but in terms of the first two classes, the introduction classes were macro and micro. Those combined had like 700 students, maybe a little more. So the lecture hall sizes on Zoom were very large. That's why my first class was totally asynchronous, because there were too many students to fit into a Zoom class. And that was definitely kind of overwhelming and difficult. Same thing with the other class. We actually did have Zoom, but it wasn't as large as the first one. All in all, Northwestern, I think, is maybe one of the top 10 universities for economics. So that comes with the price of them wanting to maintain that reputation. What that means is I know for my first class, there was a weird curve scale where I actually talked about this in my first reflection video, but a 90, like 5 was an A for a lot of the class until it was changed. But that just means that the department kind of has these classes set as very like test-oriented ones. So the assignments weren't really worth a ton, and there weren't really many. There was like 3 problem sets, and then all the midterms and finals were worth the kind of the bulk of the class. So I know in my microeconomics class, the final I think was 40%, and the midterms were like 20 each. So that was very interesting. Another very important thing to clarify is that Northwestern's main major is economics. A lot of the Weinberg students and other students either major in it or double major in it. So that also kind of leads to that scale that I was discussing. But it is very premier. It has some of the best professors in the world teaching these classes. So if it's something that you're interested in, not even just at my school, but in just college in general, find out if your school has a good economics department or if it just has one that you would be interested in taking classes in, and just kind of look into it and research that. All right, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you all so much. If you guys watched it until the end, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed or got any value from the video, please like the video, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and also share it. New videos will be coming out very soon. I'm going to be trying to pump out a lot more content each week throughout the summer and going into my fall sophomore year at college. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all are staying safe, staying strong. Always remember, stay motivated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.